Hello and welcome to Bristol. My name is Justin. I'm the owner of Team 53 and I partner with Coach Dave Academy and Impel Motorsports to bring you this week's Learn to Drive video for ARCA at Bristol as part of iRacing's 2025 Season 2 Week 11 official series. If you guys can, make sure you give us a like and a subscribe. I appreciate everyone who has watched a video, liked, subscribed, interacted in any way. And if you guys can, it definitely helps us get our message out across the server. But Bristol in an ARCA car is going to be pretty similar to trucks. It's actually pretty similar to super late models, all of that stuff. So let's dive in here. I'll show you a qualifying lap, then we'll hop into the garage. I'll show you what settings I'm using, and then we'll do some race laps. So um, let's head out here for qualifying. We're going to tire heat, gas brake, swerve, left, right. Um, we'll kind of get things up and going. If you're looking to upgrade your sim racing equipment, maybe you just don't really feel like you're getting a great feel, head over to my friends at Impel Motorsports, impelmotorsports.com. Description's down in the or link is in the description below. You can see here I'm getting up to speed here for lap 1 of my Q lap. I'm going to drive it down to the bottom here and just test out grip. And you can see it just plowed a little tight there in the center. So we're going to reshoot. We're going to go high here in 3 and 4. Get a good run down off this corner. Max speed. Car's pretty much chipping out here at the start finish line. I want you guys to see we are up tight, up against that wall. Nice and tight. Using as much track limits as we can. This seam down the front stretch, kind of in line with the hood hinges. So for qualifying at Bristol, I'm going to the bottom. A lot of you guys I know will say top, middle is better. For me, bottom was best. So I went to the bottom, driving around here. Going to start to turn in here as this wall gets white again. And we're going to take this car and we're going to shoot to bring those left sides right down there, right around that black color down there, that darker color in the corner. So we bring her in. Use a little bit of brake to set that nose and to help rotate the car. So one of the things you guys will see is that in my garage settings, I've dropped my brake balance bar almost all the way down, the brake bias, just to help get that car to free up a little bit on entry and rotate for me a little bit better. So we bring this car into the corner and you're going to see here from the cockpit view, it looks like we are over that yellow line. We're a little ways up. Still dragging a little bit of brake here into the center just to kind of help get that car woed down. As we get through the center of the corner, kind of as the last great Coliseum comes into our view, I'm trying to get here to the far chase. So we'll start to pick up. So through Coca-Cola, just before the Geico, starting to give it some throttle here. Last great Coliseum, by the time you're actually parallel with it, I'm full throttle. In the cockpit, when Chevrolet is like right there for you, that's where I'm full throttle. Driving up off this corner, take it all the way up here onto the back stretch, get nice and tight here up against the wall, get ready for turn 3, and we'll do the same thing. We're going to bring it down into the corner, use brake, get that car to rotate and slow down just ever so slightly. Bring it all the way down just like we did before. Cockpit view looks very similar to what it did in 1 and 2. We'll ride that down there on the bottom. Full throttle up off. 825. I know there's a little bit more speed in this. It's just going to be putting laps together and getting it figured out. But it's definitely a solid lap here, and we'll give you one here in the car. So this is a nice solid 825. I really want to look at just this little bit here on corner exit. You see how low we get there for corner exit. Those left sides pretty much right around that yellow line and just rocking through that. Great lap time there. I'm absolutely thrilled with it. So I think it's going to be a great lap to at least start out the week before guys start to really figure out what they need to do. In terms of garage, it's a fixed setup race, so 10 to 1. I went to a +4 from a +10, and then I dropped my brake bias all the way down to a 50.0. You could probably go lower if you needed to, and it'll definitely help you out. So in terms of race trim, so race trim here, this is going to be a little bit of a sciencey project for you guys. So what I would recommend is go out and run about 10 laps as fast as you can. And then come in and look at your tire wear. So I did some runs on the bottom, did a run primarily on the top, and then I did a run kind of middle. And it's going to be bottom for about your first 2 laps, and then you're going to want to switch and probably run middle for the rest of the run. So let's take a look here at this when I'm on the bottom. You can see here, lap 1, I kind of went a little high here, and it gets me a good run here for my lap 2, which is pretty much what we did for qualifying, right? But then when we go bottom, you drive it just like you would in qualifying. Grab that bottom, get throttle a little bit later, and go. So you're going to run 10 laps kind of as hard as you can. And then what I want you guys to do is to just kind of find some laps and just kind of settle in. Um, So run top and feel what that's like. Run middle, feel what that's like. If you've ever run races here at Bristol, you kind of understand why I'm telling you to run a variety of lines. There's going to be cars in your way. There's going to be things that you're going to need to do. There's going to be unexpected things throughout the run, especially with this being the new ARCA car's first time here at Bristol. You want to be prepared for everything. You want to have all your data points and know what you're going to be doing and how you're going to be doing it. So run your 10 laps, run 10 on bottom, 10 and run in the middle, kind of how I'm doing in the second seam, and then 10 laps here up on the top. And then compare your tire wear, right? And what you should find is that the bottom and the top are going to wear your right front the most. And I think the best run is going to be running the middle. So then what you can do is you can kind of find, okay, if I run middle at a tenth slower, so then you go to your fastest lap and you say, okay, a 984. If I slow that down to a 15082 every, for my fast lap, my target fast lap, so lap 2, lap 4, whatever it might be, my fast lap, I make that be 2/10 slower, a tenth slower. And you kind of figure out, okay, if I run 10 laps at that, I should see about 2% better tire wear. And then that means that if I exponentially pull that out for a 70 lap race at Bristol, remember, you're going to make these tires last 70 laps. There's no cautions in D-Class ARCA. So it's really going to be all about not so much being the fast lap early on, but really managing those tires, managing your tire heat throughout your run to really, really run well here at Bristol. So what are some things that we can do to manage tires? Well, the first thing is don't run down on the bottom, don't run down on the top. What I found was that hooking this middle seam here in the corners really seemed to help rotate my car better. It allowed me, if I needed to cut down below someone to get a good drive off on corner, but it also gave me the space needed where I didn't feel like I was going to float up and get into the wall. So middle might be the play for a lot of you guys. It's probably would be how I would run this. If I were to run, would definitely be to run down in the middle. But the big thing, like I said, that you really have to worry about is burning your right front off. So how do we save the right front? We drag brake on entry. If you can use your brake pedal to slow the car down and not drive it in deeper, but use that brake pedal to just kind of gradually slow that car down. What that's going to do is it's going to take a lot of the strain off the right front, and it's going to help rotate the car, and you'll have more tire towards the end. I get asked a lot, how do you do that? Well, the easiest way to do this is to go into your options, go into your options, and then it should be, I'm panicking here. Um, Where did it go? Options. Sorry for the delay. So here we go. Options, go under option and turn on your delta bar. Turn it to session best lap. And then what I do is I have buttons mapped on my steering wheel, on my Moza wheel that I got from Impel Motorsports, to be able to change left, right on a little dial thing to be able to display my references. So we're going to go in here and we're going to take a quick look here. So when I go out, you can see I've got it set here in the left-hand side to my session best lap. This dash bar you can get just by hitting D on your D-pad. It's nothing super spectacular. But then what we'll do is we can go out here on track. And as we go out on track, you're going to see my delta bar pop up. Now, those of you who are looking at this, I have triple monitors, so don't panic. the left side window net is even with where it would be in my real car. So you see that delta bar pops up. So this is going to make it really easy for us to work on race pace. So I know a 15.0 is my goal, right, for race pace. So I floated into that corner. You saw how much it just drove up that corner. So we got to use some brake here to get this car slowed down. That time we used some brake, pretty good. This is going to be a 2.
15.271.
Now this lap, we're going to try and go a little bit harder. So you can see here, now this lap, a lot better rotation in 037. I feel like I'm still really turning this car a lot on exit and really burning that tire. So we're going to just kind of go with this one as an O for my lap, right? This is what we want to run as an O. And we're just going to kind of work this for about 10 laps. And you'll run that for 10 laps, and then you'll look at your tires, and you'll say, man, my tires still weren't even. So you go back out, and then you change kind of how you're driving. Maybe you only go 3/4 throttle like we just did, and we back it down to a 1 for our fast lap. And we kind of see where we're at tire temp-wise there, and tire wear-wise. So this is only going to be a couple laps. This is about 6 laps. We were talking through most of it, so it's not going to be the best data. But what I want to show you guys is when you go into your garage, this right sides is really all you care about. Left sides are going to do what they're going to do, but right sides is what you care about. So when you're looking at it with your right side tire temps, you always take your hottest temperature, which in this case is a 179, and your hottest temperature from the rear, which is a 174. And then you look at your hot pressures. So I can see that it's building on the right front. Look at your tread remaining. So I have 98% right front tire wear, 99% right rear wear. It's always the lowest percentage that you use. So I can tell that I was burning off my right front. This is trending tight. So what we would want to do is go back out and run, 6, 8, 10 laps. Probably nothing less than 10, I would say, on a 70 lap race, and really work on saving that tire. So we would say, all right, I need to back up how hard I get on throttle a little bit. And your goal is really just to get as much even wear between the two tires as you can. The ARCA car is always going to trend tight, so you can't worry about getting it perfect, but just try and maximize that. And then when you think you have it perfect, go do a full race run in practice and see where your tires end up. And that's going to give you a great idea throughout your 70 lap Bristol D fixed race of what you have for tire wear, where your lap times are going to be towards the end, and you'll kind of understand, like, if you run one race and you finish 10th and guys were a 10th faster than you a lap, I've got space where I can drive harder. My tires were only 53%, they were 65%, whatever that might be, I can probably drive harder. And you kind of work your system up from there. But you start out your week trying to save as much as you can in practice while maintaining pace. I would say anything probably more than 2 to 3 tenths off your best time is going to be probably too slow for a race pace. But it's 70 laps at Bristol. A lot of things can happen. No cautions in this ARCA race either. So you're really going to have to keep your head on a swivel and have some fun. So head over to Team 53. We've got a short track season pass all season next year. It includes C-Fix telemetry and ARCA telemetry. We have private chats where you guys can discuss all things ARCA, all things C-Fixed, whatever it might be, as well as all of our short track stuff. Leave a comment. Let us know how you did, and we will see you guys in the next video.